What's up, everybody? I am here at Darlington driving in an Xfinity car in career mode, not test session. I'm going to try to lay down a decent lap, then talk about the line I'm using, talk about the setup. I have ran a 29.4 with this, which I think is like 4 or 5 tenths off of 10th place all time, which is unlike me. I am usually within 2 or 3 tenths on the ovals. This is probably my worst oval track. I've been very hesitant to set up a video because I just didn't feel like I had anything that was really that good. But I know some people have requested it, and I like to try to honor requests, and I think a lot of people struggle with it. So I thought I'd throw up a Darlington video. If I ever get this thing truly figured out and can come up with something better, I'll be sure and replace this with a better video. But this is the best I got so far. So I'm trying to get a 29.4, 29.5. There was a 29.4. So that's pretty good. That's actually a new record for me. So maybe I'm starting to get a little better at this. I'm going to finish this lap out, then we will start talking about the line I am using, and I can show the setup and everything. I think I overdrove that a little bit, so this is probably not going to be as good. 29.5, so I'll take that 29.4 and let's talk about the line I am using. We'll get through here. We'll go to start talking in turn 3 here. So one of the things I really struggled with in turn 3 was figuring out a braking point. And what I have learned and what has helped me get the lap times down at least a little bit is I lift but I don't brake. So to lift but not brake going into 3, you have to lift early. So I started lifting somewhere along where these cones are. So you see there's cones here, there's 4 here, and then there's 3, 2, 1. So where these cones are, and there is a white line there, I used to try to brake right before that white line, but I started using the cones as a thing, and I really think I start about where 3 is, and I just lift, and you let it roll. You let the car roll, and once it settles, you can get back in the throttle, but you're lifting what seems like really early. You're off the gas a really long time before you get back into it and let it settle, and then once you get back in the gas, basically it is such a narrow track. You're just trying to stay off the wall. I like to stay down at the bottom, but that doesn't always work for me. Sometimes you drift up towards the wall, but I am trying to basically go with the theory of lift but don't brake, and that's how I get through turn 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 is the narrower turn, so you got to lift earlier there. Now coming up into 1 and 2, 1 and 2 is different. It's a lot more wide sweeping turn, and you can feel a dip in the track, okay? And you can feel it when you're driving. You can't really see it very much, and you can't feel it really at these low speeds. But there's kind of a dip in the track, and I am sitting here. If I can get this thing squared away here. I think about this final cone here, that cone that's in the fence where it counts down from 3 to 2 to 1. I am trying to lift, and I'm trying to let the car settle to the bottom and then get back on the throttle as soon as it settles, and then just kind of stay near the bottom but let it drift out a little bit coming out of the corner. When you're coming out of the corner and coming out of 2, it seems like there is something over here in the track. I don't know if it's a bump, I don't know if it's a patch in the track, something that if you hit it, the car will get a little bit sideways on you. So you want to either try to, it seems like, stay right by the wall or stay right by the white line. But if you are struggling coming out to hold your line on 2, you're better off lifting a little bit because the car will get out of shape in a hurry coming out of 2 if you haven't hit it just right. So those are my tips for Darlington. Let's go to the garage and I will show the setup and we'll see what we can do from there. Okay, so on the setup, there is nothing real radical here. I bumped up the right rebound quite a bit to 8. That helps the car turn in. That's a corner entry adjustment to help it turn in. The right rebound going up is also something to help it turn in. I was struggling to get the car to turn in. The tire wear on this setup I think is pretty good. It seems pretty stable. I don't think it gets real crazy, tight or loose or out of control as the tires wear. Those wedge settings are pretty normal for what I run in Xfinity, usually around 51 and a half. The spring settings are pretty normal for what I run. The tire pressures I think maybe are the defaults. The camber settings, I did have to go to even camber settings to try to get the car to wear the tires at an acceptable rate. Normally that left camber is much higher, but this is what I wound up with, and the car seems happy with it. The sway bar is kind of stiff for a track as high banked as Darlington, but the car seems to work there. The track bars, I had to go really high up on the track bars. And again, this is to try to help the car turn. And you got to have the car turning well, but you got to have it to where you can really hold your line at Darlington because it's such a narrow track. You don't have a lot of room to drift up off the bottom or because you drift very much or move very much at all either direction. You're either clipping the apron or you're into the wall. The grill tape's kind of high, but the car doesn't overheat, and that's pretty much it for Darlington. So, hope that is helpful to you guys. Check it out. I'm sure you guys can play with it, make some improvements on it. If you got any comments on how to improve this setup or what I'm doing wrong in the line, let me know, because like I said, I don't think this is my best track at all. This is probably my worst track, but I did have some requests and wanted to honor them. So here is a Darlington setup for Xfinity. I'll try to get one up for the Cup cars as well. And I hope this works out for you. I hope you guys write back and say, you know, the setup's great. It's just that I'm not driving it right or don't have enough talent. But I really do hope the setup works for you guys. Thank you for the support. Keep it going. Keep giving me all the great feedback, and I will keep trying to put out great content for you. Thank you much, and have a great